Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of truth and students of the unknown, there comes a time in every human being's life when a whisper calls from deep within, echoing louder than the noise of the world, a feeling that you're different, that this existence is not all there is, that something about you, your intuition, your awareness, your potential, does not align with the label 100% human. I stand before you not to offer you answers, but to awaken your questions. To remind you that you are not just flesh and blood, but something far more mysterious and divine. The moment you feel like the world doesn't understand you, the moment you feel detached from the norms, from the rush, from the expectations of modern life, you are not broken. You are awakening. We are taught that we are born, we live, and we die. But what if that is not the full story? What if your essence, your very core, is rooted in something cosmic, ancient, and sacred? What if you are the chosen one, not by the world's standards of fame or glory, but chosen by a higher force to remember your origin, your purpose, and your power? In Shaolin philosophy, we are taught to listen deeply, not just to the outside world, but to the silence within. And in that silence, truths are revealed that no book can teach. So let us explore this mystery, why you feel different, why your heart longs for something more, and why the greatest war is not in the world, but within your soul. Because once you understand that you are not 100% human, you realize, from childhood, many of the chosen ones sense a subtle difference in how they perceive the world. While others adapt easily to societal norms, chase approval, and find comfort in crowds, the chosen often feel out of sync, as if they are observing life rather than participating in it. It's not uncommon for them to sit in a classroom, walk through a crowded city, or even sit at the family dinner table and feel like an outsider in their own world. They may question why conversations feel shallow, why routines feel repetitive, or why the ambitions of the world seem empty to them. This persistent sense of not fitting in isn't a psychological flaw, it's a spiritual indicator. It points to the reality that their consciousness is tuned into a different frequency. While most people are occupied with survival, ego, and validation, the chosen one is often more concerned with meaning, truth, and purpose. They see through the illusion, even if they cannot yet explain it. And this disconnect can create feelings of loneliness, confusion, or even guilt, especially when those around them don't understand or validate their experiences. This sense of detachment is the first echo of their higher nature, reminding them they are not meant to blindly conform. Their soul is whispering through the cracks of normal life, "You were not built to blend in, you were sent to remember." Often, the more one tries to suppress this inner knowing in order to be normal, the stronger the inner resistance becomes. Depression, anxiety, or inner restlessness may increase not because something is wrong, but because the truth is being ignored. Many chosen ones also have an early sensitivity to injustice, cruelty, or the suffering of others. They carry a depth of empathy that cannot be taught. The pain of the world becomes their own, and they begin to question why things are the way they are, long before most people ever do. This emotional intensity is not a weakness, it is a sign of spiritual maturity. It shows that the soul has experienced far more than the current lifetime would suggest. Additionally, dreams for these individuals are often vivid, symbolic, and prophetic. They may dream of flying, of other realms, of receiving messages or warnings. They may have imaginary friends as children, guides, not figments. Their imagination isn't just imagination, it's memory, memory of something before this human life, memory of another realm, another dimension, another mission. To be a chosen one is not to be superior, it is to carry a different frequency of consciousness, and that difference is often felt most painfully as a child or young adult, when all you want is to be accepted. The world tells you to fit in, Your soul begs you to stand apart. That internal war becomes your teacher. It pushes you to discover that your discomfort with the world is not an accident. It is a sign that your spirit is waking up. To truly grasp the mystery of your origin, you must first unlearn what you've been told about your identity. From birth, society conditions you to believe you are a body, a name, a personality, a set of preferences shaped by environment and genetics. But beneath this fragile exterior lies your truest essence. You are energy, you are frequency, you are vibration in motion. The body is your vessel, but it is not the entirety of who you are. Everything in existence, every cell, every thought, every emotion, is energy vibrating at a specific frequency. Modern quantum physics now echoes what ancient spiritual teachings have long known, that the visible world is only a small fraction of reality. The rest is energy, invisible to the human eye, but deeply felt by the awakened soul. Your thoughts emit vibrations. Your emotions generate fields. Your intentions carry weight beyond space and time. This is why some people drain you while others uplift you. Your energy fields are in silent conversation long before words are spoken. As someone who is not 100% human, you often feel this more intensely than others. You walk into a room and immediately sense the atmosphere. You feel tension in silence. You detect dishonesty without evidence. You are not imagining these things. Your energetic sensitivity is simply more refined than most. You are tuned into the subtle layers of existence. This sensitivity may have once felt like a burden, making you overly emotional or overwhelmed in crowds, but in truth, it is your greatest gift. Your body may walk in the material world, but your awareness reaches beyond it. You might receive sudden insights, intuitions, or inner visions that have no logical explanation. You may feel a deep connection to someone you just met, or a strong aversion with no visible cause. These are energetic exchanges that transcend the five senses. You exist simultaneously in the seen and unseen worlds. That's why your guidance doesn't always come from the mind. It comes from a feeling, a knowing, a pull you can't explain. This energetic nature also means that your true power lies not in doing, but in being. Who you are energetically, your intention, your emotional state, your inner alignment, has a greater impact on the world than your words or actions alone. You shift reality simply by embodying truth. When your inner state is peaceful, you bring peace. When it is chaotic, the world reflects that back. This is why mastering your energy is more important than controlling the external. You do not influence from the outside in. You create from the inside out. Ancient Shaolin teachings emphasize inner stillness because the energy you emit is shaped by the stillness you cultivate. The more grounded you are in your center, the more magnetic your energy becomes. You attract what you are, not what you chase. Your energy field is a living language, and it speaks to everything around you consciously and unconsciously. Animals sense it, children feel it, nature harmonizes with it. It is not bound by physical laws. It is part of your origin, subtle, powerful, and eternal. As you evolve spiritually, you become more aware of how energy moves through you, how environments affect your vibration, and how your presence influences others. You begin to see that your words are only a fraction of your communication. The rest is energetic resonance, truth transmitted through being, and once you begin to live in alignment with this realization, everything around you begins to change. Not because you tried harder, but because you remembered who and what you truly are. To understand why you feel the way you do, why life has always felt deeper, why your questions go beyond the physical, and why your soul aches for something more, you must go back far beyond your birth. Not back to your childhood, but to a time before time, to a realm that existed long before the earth formed mountains or oceans. Your soul did not begin here, it descended here. You were not randomly placed into a human body. You were assigned, sent from a higher dimension of consciousness, a realm of pure spirit. That dimension is not visible to human eyes, but it is more real than anything in this world. Ancient traditions from Taoism, Shaolin, Tibetan Buddhism, and indigenous tribes all point to the same truth. This physical reality is only one layer of existence. Beyond it are planes of energy, of spirit, of light and sound, realms where your true essence originates. You are not 100% human because your consciousness was not created in this material world. It was transferred into it. The human body is like a suit, complex and temporary, but what animates it, what looks through your eyes and feels the pull of truth and love and purpose, that is eternal. That is soul, that is spirit. This is why you may have felt things others don't. It's why you've had moments of deep déjà vu in places you've never been. Why you've met people and felt like you've known them forever. Why you can't settle for the mundane answers the world gives. Because your soul carries memory, not the memory of one life, but of many. Not just of Earth, but of other realms, other timelines, other missions. And you've likely always known it, even if you couldn't explain it. As a child, you may have looked at the stars and felt a longing. You may have spoken to unseen beings, had dreams of floating or flying, or sensed a deep connection to the moon, to animals, to the elements. These are not fantasies, they are echoes, remnants of your multidimensional origin. Your soul still remembers the realm of spirit from which it came, even though your mind has been trained to forget. This spiritual origin also explains your sensitivity to energy, your emotional depth, and your resistance to structures that limit your growth. Systems based only on logic, control, or routine feel suffocating to you, not because you're rebellious, but because your soul was forged in freedom. In the spirit realm, there are no limitations, only expansion, only flow, only connection. And when you incarnated into this human form, part of your journey became remembering that truth within a world designed to make you forget. The Shaolin path teaches us that the body is a temple and the breath is a bridge. This bridge allows us to reconnect with the invisible realm. When you meditate, when you sit in silence, when you disconnect from noise and return to the breath, you don't just calm your mind, you open the doorway back to your source. You begin to align not with the human self, but with the eternal self, the spirit being having a temporary human experience. And this changes everything, because once you begin to remember where you come from, the illusion of separation starts to dissolve. You realize you are not here to just survive, work, and die. You are here because something higher, wiser, and far older chose to send you here. Not as punishment, but with a purpose. That purpose is coded deep within your spirit. It has always been there. You may not see it clearly yet, but the fact that you are asking the questions is proof that your soul is starting to wake up to the reality of your origin. One of the most misunderstood aspects of being a chosen one, of not being 100% human, is the intensity of the battles you face. Emotional storms, spiritual isolation, cycles of loss, periods of confusion, even depression. These are not coincidences. They are not signs that life is against you. In truth, these experiences are activations. They are sacred, painful, yet necessary initiations into the deeper awareness of who you really are. The human world often interprets pain as a sign of weakness or punishment, but in the spiritual realm, pain is often the flame that forges the soul. When something within you is meant to awaken, it is almost always preceded by some form of struggle, because transformation demands friction. The shell of your old identity must be cracked for the truth of your origin to rise. That cracking can feel like grief, like betrayal, like failure, but it is the storm before the light, the collapse before the emergence. As someone who carries a soul not fully rooted in this world, you may have noticed that your life is filled with higher intensity than most. You may have lost people early, been rejected, misunderstood, or made to feel too much for others to handle. You may have walked through seasons of such deep loneliness that you questioned your worth or even your sanity. But those moments were not signs of abandonment. They were soul initiations, turning points meant to push you inward, to silence the noise around you so you could hear the call of your spirit within. Activations often appear when you're ready to remember what the world trained you to forget. The trauma you endured didn't break you. It broke open your access to empathy, insight, and resilience. The betrayal you suffered didn't destroy your heart. It revealed the strength of your soul. Every event, no matter how painful, served a hidden purpose: to strip away the false layers of your identity, the conditioned beliefs, and the expectations that never belonged to you in the first place. You see, the more powerful the soul, the more pressure it faces early on. Why? Because greatness is not built in comfort. It is forged in adversity. Your capacity to hold light is expanded each time you survive the dark. The universe will never send you pain without planting the seed of your awakening inside it. You were not being punished. You were being prepared to lead, to heal, to see beyond the illusion, and to trust the inner compass that only grows stronger through struggle. These activations also strip away ego illusions. You may have noticed how, after a difficult life event, you became more compassionate, more aware, more centered. You began to value inner peace over outer success. You stopped needing validation from others and started looking inward for truth. That's not a coincidence. That is spiritual evolution, and those changes in you didn't come from books or teachings. They were born from experience. Experiences that awakened dormant codes within your soul, codes placed there long before you arrived on earth. And this is why, while others may collapse under pressure, you rise. While others avoid the fire, you walk through it. Because something inside you already knows it's the fire that awakens what's eternal. Your scars become your sacred marks. Your pain becomes your passageway to purpose. You don't seek a comfortable life. You seek a meaningful one. And meaning often emerges from the very moments you once thought would destroy you. We live in a world that is louder than ever before: constant notifications, endless scrolling, advertisements shouting for your attention, and a culture built on speed, comparison, and consumption. In this environment, it's easy to lose your center, to forget your essence. But for those who are not 100% human, for those who carry an ancient spirit within, this modern world doesn't just feel overwhelming. It feels alien, misaligned, almost like an illusion, and that's because it is, when viewed through the lens of your deeper spiritual origin. As a chosen one, your soul did not originate in a place of chaos, division, or artificial stimulation. It comes from a place of silence, balance, rhythm, and harmony, a place where being is more valuable than doing, where stillness holds more wisdom than speech, and where your worth is not measured by likes, money, or status, but by your inner alignment and truth. But the modern system, education, media, work culture, is built to pull you away from that. It teaches you to live from the outside in, not the inside out. It teaches you to obey, to conform, to produce, but not to remember. From a young age, you're taught how to fit into society, not how to understand your soul. You're rewarded for being fast, not deep, for following rules, not asking questions, for staying busy, not staying present. But this conditioning creates an internal tension in the chosen one. You may have followed the paths, cool, job, goals, but still felt empty, unfulfilled, disconnected, not because you did anything wrong, but because your soul does not thrive in systems that were never built to honor it. Modern society numbs the ancient spirit through constant distraction. Every idle moment is filled with screens. Every silence is drowned by noise, but your spirit doesn't awaken in noise. It awakens in stillness. The pace of modern life leaves no room for sacred reflection, no space to breathe and listen deeply. And when you live like this for too long, you begin to forget the language of your own spirit. You forget the inner knowing, the quiet voice, the natural connection to Source that once guided you effortlessly. The result is spiritual fatigue, an invisible exhaustion that no amount of sleep can fix. You may feel it as an ache, a restlessness, a quiet despair that lingers even when life looks fine on the outside. That's because your soul is not here to live a programmed life. It's here to live a purposeful life. And that purpose can't be found in society's templates. It can only be found by disconnecting from the artificial and reconnecting with the authentic. Nature, silence, presence, ritual, breath, truth. These are your soul's native environments. This misalignment with society is also why so many chosen ones feel like outcasts. You may have been labeled too sensitive, too quiet, too intense, or too different. But what society sees as weakness is actually ancient intelligence. You are tuned to a deeper frequency. You are bothered by lies, overwhelmed by artificial light, drained by superficial conversations, not because you're broken, but because you were made for more refined realms of experience. Realms where energy matters, where intention is felt, and where truth cuts deeper than words. The ancient spirit inside you cannot thrive in shallow soil. It needs depth, it needs stillness, it needs connection to the earth, to the self, to spirit. That's why you feel most alive when you're near mountains, oceans, forests, or when you're alone in meditation or reflection. That's why music, poetry, sacred movement, and authentic conversation nourish you in ways material things never can. These moments remind your soul of where it came from. They reawaken what society has tried to make you forget. You were never meant to belong entirely to this world because you were born to walk between worlds. As someone who is not 100% human, your existence carries a dual nature, grounded in physical form, yet constantly reaching into the invisible dimensions. You are both matter and spirit, body and energy, human and divine. This makes your life path unique, because your soul isn't anchored only in what can be seen, touched, or logically explained. Instead, you move through reality as a bridge, a living intersection between the material and the mystical. This role isn't something you choose. It's something your soul agreed to before you ever arrived here, and it's why you often feel split between two realms. On one hand, you must function in this physical world, go to work, maintain relationships, fulfill responsibilities. On the other hand, you're constantly pulled by an inner voice that speaks of purpose, energy, intuition, dreams, and realms unseen by the ordinary eye. You may struggle to explain this to others because the language of the unseen can't be fully captured by logic or words. It's felt, it's known, it's lived. You sense things others do not. You can walk into a room and feel the emotional atmosphere instantly. You may feel heavy in certain environments without any obvious reason, because you're absorbing the unspoken energy. You might feel the presence of someone before they arrive, or know something is wrong with a loved one before they've said a word. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that your spirit is deeply tuned into the unseen field that surrounds all life. And it doesn't stop there. Your dreams are not just mental processes. They are often messages, journeys, and lessons. You may dream of symbols, flying, sacred places, or spiritual beings. You may wake up with feelings you can't explain, but which feel deeply significant. This is the world of the unseen speaking to you, initiating you, guiding you, and revealing truths that bypass the noise of your waking mind. This connection also makes you naturally drawn to mystical teachings, ancient wisdom, and spiritual disciplines. You feel at home in philosophies that go beyond surface-level knowledge, teachings about energy, karma, frequency, reincarnation, and the nature of the soul. You don't just study them, you remember them. Because the knowledge doesn't feel new to you, it feels like something you already knew, something being reawakened rather than taught. This is the soul's recognition of its own lineage across lifetimes. Being a bridge also means that your presence affects others more than you realize. People may feel calm around you, or triggered, or unexpectedly emotional, not because of what you say, but because of what your energy stirs in them. Your vibration mirrors truth. It reveals hidden pain. It activates something within others that they may not be ready to face. This is part of your purpose, not to fix or save others, but to simply be a clear mirror reflecting what's real, what's unresolved, and what's sacred. But this responsibility can feel overwhelming. You may wonder why others lean on you for guidance, why strangers open up to you, why people sense your presence even when you're quiet. It's because you're not just a person to them, you're a doorway, a passage to something deeper, something eternal. Your existence reminds others of what they've forgotten. Your energy carries codes of awakening. Even in silence, you are doing the work of spirit. In ancient cultures, there were names for people like you: shamans, oracles, seers, monks, lightworkers. In today's world, those roles have no official titles, but they still exist, and you are living proof of that. You may not wear robes or carry staffs, but your purpose is the same: to stand at the threshold between dimensions and walk with one foot in each world, to take what is divine and make it human, to take what is unseen and make it felt, to live as a bridge, not only for yourself, but for others who are lost in the illusion and searching for the truth. There is a profound truth that every chosen one must eventually realize. Your greatest mission on this planet is not to change others. It is to awaken yourself. That awakening, that deep inner transformation, is what naturally begins to ripple outward, affecting everything and everyone around you. You are not here to preach. You are not here to impose. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to embody your truth so powerfully that your very presence becomes a silent revolution. The world doesn't need more noise, it needs more alignment, and the most aligned version of you is not the one that conforms, seeks approval, or tries to save others. It's the version of you that is fully conscious, deeply grounded, and spiritually aware. That kind of presence is magnetic. It doesn't need validation or recognition. It simply is. It speaks without words. It teaches without trying, because the awakened soul doesn't push change. It invites it. But before you can become that presence for the world, you must first travel the often painful, beautiful path of inner awakening. This means facing your shadows, healing your wounds, questioning what you've been taught, and remembering what your soul already knows. It means peeling back the layers of conditioning, ego, fear, and illusion to uncover the timeless self that has always been there. And that process is not easy. It requires courage, silence, surrender, and patience. It asks you to let go of who you think you are so you can remember who you've always been. Many chosen ones struggle in the beginning because they want to help others so badly. They see the pain in the world, the illusion, the spiritual blindness, and they want to shake people awake. But that urgency, while rooted in compassion, often becomes a distraction. Because the most effective way to raise the vibration of others is not by trying to change them, but by transforming your own vibration. When you become light, others begin to see. When you become truth, others begin to question. When you walk in peace, others begin to feel the chaos inside them, and they begin to seek. This is how real awakening spreads, not through noise or force, but through resonance. The more you remember who you are, the more you activate that same memory in others. And this is something you do just by being, by living in alignment, by listening to your intuition, by honoring your path, by showing that it's possible to live with integrity, authenticity, and depth in a world that promotes the opposite. You are not here to convince anyone. You are here to embody what's possible, and your awakening is not a one-time event. It is a continuous unfolding, a deepening. Every experience, every relationship, every challenge is an opportunity to grow, to refine, to align. Your pain becomes your wisdom. Your solitude becomes your sanctuary. Your questions become your compass. And through this sacred process of becoming more you, you begin to naturally guide others toward becoming more them. Not because you told them to, but because your energy, your choices, your peace spoke louder than words ever could. You are a seed of awakening planted in the soil of a sleeping world, but no seed is told to bloom overnight. It must first go underground. It must face darkness. It must push through resistance. Only then does it rise, and when it rises, it doesn't need applause. It simply becomes what it was always meant to be, a reflection of life, light, and truth in form. Your presence matters more than your performance. Your alignment matters more than your achievements. Your energy matters more than your image. The world is not waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to be real, because when you are real, you awaken the sleeping parts of the world around you. So now, you begin to understand you are not just living a life, you are living a mission. You are not here by accident, and you are not like everyone else, because you were never meant to be. You are not 100% human because your origin reaches beyond this realm, beyond time, beyond explanation. You carry ancient memory in your soul, divine codes in your spirit, and a frequency that this world doesn't yet fully understand. That's why you've always felt different. That's why life has tested you. That's why your heart is both heavy and holy. You are here to awaken, not only yourself, but everyone whose soul touches yours. You are here to remember, not what the world taught you, but what your soul never forgot. And when the world tells you to fit in, to shrink, to forget, remember this: you are the bridge, you are the light, you are the living proof that the divine walks among us, hidden in human skin, waiting to rise. You are the chosen one. Awaken, remember, become.